G'day folks, it is an absolutely glorious morning up here at Lake William Hovell, and I'm about to go fishing for trout or redfin from my kayak. Have a look at how pretty it is. Hey you! You're watching Robbie Fishing. Right now I'm on the water, ready to start fishing. Now what lure am I going to use? Well, here I have the July trout and redfin box from tackleclub.com.au. Let's have a look and see what's inside. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've already had a sneak peek. I was somewhere yesterday waiting for Loretta, and that was on the seat of the car, and I'm waiting, and I just got so bored waiting for her that I decided to have a sneak peek. So I know what's in it, and it's a ripper. Let me show you. We have the Pontoon 21 Paco spoon. It's a jagger. It's more like a jagger than a spoon. Great in heavy currents, great in tail races, and great fished vertically below a boat or a kayak jigged for redfin. This looks really awesome. A Pro Lure blade. A Pro Lure V42 blade. I guess that means it's 42 mil long. Normally they're about 7 grams. I'm not sure what it was. Oh, there we go. 6.5 grams. That looks really, really cool. I'm quite impressed with that. I'm looking forward to, I'll give that a go today for sure. We've got a Rapala jigging wrap. It's like an ice jig. I'll probably give that a go at some stage today as well. We've got a Damiki, I should know what this is called. There it is. Serpent. A Damiki Axe Serpent. 75mm long skinny minnow. I don't know whether I'll swim that today, but that looks ideal in rivers, particularly in the spawning season when trout are hunting smaller fish. But I think it'll be good in lakes and rivers, but I see it as more of a river lure. Before I go to the last one, I'll just paddle back before I ram my rod into the bank. And we've got a Rapala ULM ultralight minnow. A Rapala ultralight minnow, which I'm thinking I might start with this morning. I've seen a couple of trout rising out there. I want to get started quickly before it gets sunny, so I might tie that on first and start with that. And we have the Tackle Club sticker, the Aussie and Australia one, a ripper. We have, and I think if I do this right, you should be able to put that up on the screen, on your computer or your TV screen, and scan that barcode and open the magazine anyway. But if you scan that barcode, that goes to the magazine that shows all these lures and lots of other tips, tricks and videos. Anyway, what's in the box?
Pontoon 21 Paco spoon, $16.99. Rapala ultralight minnow, $14.95. Damiki Axe Serpent, $14.99. Pro Lure V42 blade, $15.95. Rapala jigging wrap, $12.95.
Total value of $75.83. And in Tackle Club it costs you $49.99, and I can get you 10% off that. Again, if you use my discount code Robbie10, you'll save a further 10% off individual boxes, and Robbie10S will save you 10% off the first box of a subscription. So I've got all these awesome lures to choose from, and I think I'll start with that little Rapala. At this stage, this is the plan. I'll start with this little Rapala minnow. I'm hoping to cast this Pro Lure V42 around at some stage. I think the blades are one of the most underrated lures on the market for trout. I've caught so many trout up here in Lake William Hovell casting blades around, so I'm hoping to give that a crack. And I might give the ice jig a crack a bit later on. It's not a good time of year to catch redfin now. I get a couple of little ones on bait, but they're generally pretty quiet. But I might give it a go a bit later on and see how I go. I'm not sure whether I'll get a chance to swim these two. I wouldn't mind swimming the Axe Serpent and seeing how it goes. The Jagger, I think, will stay in my tackle box until I get back up to Lake Buffalo and chase the big redfin next autumn. But anyway, I'm going to tie this one on first and get started. And what a beautiful morning it is. Now I'm starting with this little Rapala ultralight minnow. Now with any little minnow, no matter what brand it is, you should always use a loop knot or a line clip of some kind. I prefer a loop knot, just because they don't pull much water. Because they don't displace much water, the line tends to throw them off balance and they don't track very well. But if you use a loop knot, they'll usually track a lot straighter and you'll get a much better swimming action. A loop knot or a line clip if you don't know how to tie a loop knot. Right, now there we go. There's my loop knot. It's only nice and small. You don't want your loop too big on a loop knot. If it's too big, what happens? The lure tangles too easily. How does this thing look in the water? It sinks. That's surprising. I thought it'd be a floating lure. Oh, it's got a nice little action. Not a very tight action. Well, I reckon if I dart it around, it'll be good. No, that looks good. Start with that and see how it goes. Rightio, Rapala ultralight minnow. Get the hell back there. so pretty up here. When I'm trolling for trout, I like to go a little bit faster than what I do when I'm trolling for redfin or cod. Right, I've paddled all the way to the top of the lake. You can see the King River running in through there. It used to run in up there another 100 metres. Oh, I got him. I bloody got him. I was reeling it in. Can you believe that? I was reeling it in. I was just about to tell you that I'm going to stop trolling and start casting. And as I was reeling it in, a small fish has grabbed it. I've trolled all the way from the bottom end of the lake. He's not very big. There, he's still pulling. Can you believe that? That is unbelievable. I'm trying to lift him out without him getting off. He's only got one hook in his mouth. He could get off. There you are, folks. Can you believe that? I've trolled all the way from the bottom of the lake. You always got to be careful when you're using trebles. Oh, mate, settle down. I've trawled all the way from the bottom of the lake without a touch, and then I stopped. I thought I'll reel it in. I'll explain that I'm at the top of the lake and I'm going to start casting now for a little bit. And then just as I started talking while I was reeling it in, a fish come and grabbed it. What are the odds of that? I'll get my GoPro back on my head. It's a lovely little brown trout. Hey. There he goes. That wasn't the most graceful release, but it was a release. I've trolled all the way from the bottom of the lake right up to here to where the King River runs in, and I was just about to explain that you can see the river running in. What I'm going to do is reel it in and make a few casts, and while I was reeling in, the trout grabbed it. Well, there's one lure from the Tackle Club box that's worked, the little Rapala ultralight minnow. Now I'm going to go up there. There's a lot of water pushing through here at the moment. There's quite a lot of water flowing into the lake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up there. The river used to run in about another 100 metres up that way, around that bottom of that hill. But in 2011, a massive big flood came through and changed the path of the river, and now there's just a bit of a backwater up there. So I might go up there and see if there's any fish up there. And then I'm just going to allow the current to just push me down, and I'm just going to cast around and see if I can pick up another one. This was, I was going to say at the start of the video, this might be a fishless trip, but I say that too often this time of the year, so I thought I'll just have a bit of faith in myself. Even if I don't catch another fish today, I've caught a Spanish fish. I've caught one. Idiot. I go to the tree. Ultra light. I didn't expect it to cast that far. Oh, there's one following. He's hitting it. He's chasing it. Oh, I don't know whether the camera got that or not, but I certainly saw it. He opened his mouth and had a go at it. It was a similar size to the one that I just released. He opened his mouth and had a nibble, but didn't strike it properly. He's hitting it. He's chasing it. I could call this video Spanish trout fishing. I caught one. Now, I know I've already told you on this channel about my Spanish girlfriend, but for anybody that didn't hear the story, I used to have a Spanish girlfriend. She had one big tooth, and that's it. In her whole mouth, she only had one tooth. Her name was Juanita. Got him. Yes, it was a nicer fish too. Oh, look at him jumping. Right up at the bloody headwaters where the river's running into the lake. It's a rainbow. He's a lot bigger than the last one. If I had an esky, he'd be a nice sized fish for the plate, but I didn't bring an esky. Right, come on, mate. I'll try and lift him out. I haven't even got a landing net with me. I never do. I should get in the habit of carrying one around. Here's a lovely rainbow. Look at that. Very, very fat. Come on, mate. Come on. Look at the condition he's in. That's the result of a wet year. A year with above average rainfall. Once again, caught in that little Rapala ultralight. Now I've just got to be careful with this bit of current washing into the lake here, that it don't get washed sideways against those branches, because that could spell disaster. I'll give you a quick look. Look at that, what a beautiful rainbow trout. You little ripper. See you later, mate. Now I'm just sort of wondering, how do you define the streams are currently closed to trout fishing, but the streams, the rivers and creeks are currently closed, but the lake is open? I call this the lake because it's part of the lake. It's all backed up and I'm able to get here in my kayak. Some people might say I'm fishing the river, but I would say the first set of rapids there would have to be the line of the river. Surely this wouldn't be classed as the river here, where it's backed up by the lake. Either way, the closed trout season is to protect spawning trout, and they're not going to spawn down here in the lake only to have their eggs washed into the lake. I reckon if I was to fish a nice pool above that rapid, that would be a different story. Righto folks, slight change of tactics. I've taken off that little Rapala. You know, it was working well, and you might ask why take it off if it's working. Because I'm keen to try this Pro Lure blade. I think blades are very, very underrated as a trout lure. Let me just tell you a couple of things about blades. They cast very well, they vibrate, they're a vibe, and they've got a number of holes in the back. This one's got 3. Sometimes the smaller ones have got 2, and sometimes the larger ones can have 4, possibly even 5. Basically, that's to adjust the angle it sits in the water. The front hole will have it sitting more horizontally in the water, which creates less vibration, not as strong a vibration, which allows it to sink more, and that's for fishing down a bit deeper. The back hole has it more vertically in the water, which creates more vibration, and that vibration pulls the lure up and keeps it up higher. Now, because I'm casting from the kayak now, I'm going to just go with the middle hole. The middle hole is just an average of the two. If I find I want to get it deeper or shallower, well, then I can make that adjustment. And one other thing about blades, they tangle a lot. Every brand of blade I've ever used tangles a lot. I've caught a lot of trout on the Damiki Volt 42 and also on the TT Switchblade, and they all tangle. I've used a few other blades, so I expect this to tangle from time to time as well. If you've bought a blade and you cast that and it's tangling, that's just what they do. But they also catch fish. They're an absolute fish magnet. I've caught trout, redfin and yellow belly on them, and I reckon they're very underrated as a trout lure. But anyway, Pro Lure V42. Let's go and see how you swim. I'm actually thinking about going to that back hole, but I'll persevere for a minute. It's getting down very deep, even with the middle hole. But let me just give you a real quick crash course on how to fish a blade. Obviously cast it out. What I do, I don't even wait for them to sink unless I'm fishing for redfin or something. Reel it in a bit, give it a big heave like that, then reel in the slack. Then give it a heave, then reel in the slack. And give it a bit of a heave, only a slow heave, just if you can feel it going through the line. 9 times out of 10, the fish will hit it on that pause. When I pause it to reel in that slack, that's when the fish will hit it. So, give it a heave and a pause. Then a heave, then a pause. Then a heave, then a pause. And when you take up that slack, when you pause it like that, you want to try and keep that slack to a minimum, because if there's too much slack in the line, the fish won't hook up. Oh, you son of a bitch. Uh-oh. Oh no. What sort of a stupid cast was that? No, I really like this lure. No, 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 no. Uh-oh. Idiot! Oh, I'm going to lose that because it's wrapped around about 77 branches. If it comes off, I'm going to wear it. Gone. Didn't splash either, still up there in the tree. If anybody wants a Pro Lure V42 blade, and I think the V means vibe, well, it's in that tree up there. Bugger it. I was going to catch a fish on that lure, I just knew I would. I had one strike on it in the first 5 minutes of using it, and then lost it in the first 6. Now that's very disappointing. I was really liking that blade. I was sure I was going to catch a fish on it. That's the Pro Lure V42 blade. It actually cast well, it swam really nicely, and in the 5 or 6 minutes I used it, I only had one tangle, which is very good for blades, by blade standards. Anyway, I'm going back to the little Rapala ultralight minnow. I liked using this, it was working and I liked it. There's a boat just up there. Now, because of the wind, I'm thinking I might trawl my way over to that bay over there, which hopefully will be a little bit protected from this breeze. And then I'll just ice jig. I'll fish an ice jig over there for a little while and see if I can catch a redfin before I leave. Jeez, I didn't see this coming this morning. It was like glass when I got here. Now it's like Bell's Beach. And I'm getting a wet ass because the water's coming up through the scupper plugs, the scupper holes on my kayak. All part of the adventure. Righto folks, this is a Rapala jigging wrap. Although I normally just call it an ice jig. It's a little jig. It's got a set of trebles on the bottom and a single hook either end and a little bit of a flap at the back there just to help it vibrate a little bit. All I want to do is lower that down under the kayak, then bounce it up and down just like that. And what that'll do, it becomes quite erratic because of that fin at the back. It'll sort of go either way, but it'll just look like a wounded bait fish or something swimming around the bottom, or just something small that a fish might like to eat. And that's all you do. They're very easy to use and they're very, very effective at the right time of the year. Although up here at Lake William Hovell, August generally isn't the right time of year to catch redfin. April's probably the best. But that's all you do, look at that. Now I'm drifting a bit, so I'll end up out that side, but you can sort of lift it up and give it a big heave and then try and keep tension on the line as it sinks, and quite often the fish will hit it as it sinks, although I prefer to just bob it around the bottom a little bit like that, as long as it's moving. If it's moving, it will look like something that a redfin will eat. That's all you need to do, just keep it moving around on the bottom. Right folks, now this has been a bit of an adventure. I caught 2 trout and I lost a couple of others right where the river runs in. Now I think this time of year, river mouths and creek mouths are the best places to fish in lakes, because a lot of the trout are swimming back down and out of the hills after spawning and back into the lake, and a lot of them are hungry. So it makes sense that you're going to fish around the river mouths. I opened the Tackle Club box, very, very, very impressed. I think my favourite lure from this box is the one that I left on the tree, which was very disappointing. But it was the Rapala ultralight that done the damage. I fished the ice jig for a while and done no good, but I've had a blast. Folks, don't forget tackleclub.com.au and use my discount code Robbie10 to get 10% off, or Robbie10S for subscriptions. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, why not give it a big fat thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.